Starbound, the 2D sandbox adventure, has finally reached its full release. Years of anticipation have been building up to this. Terraria in space. Let's set the tone here. A ways back, one of the Terraria devs split off and began production of a 2D sandbox game in the vein of Terraria. And as you can tell, that was Starbound. Starbound actually has some things going on for it though, but there might be a few deal breakers along the way. For one, Starbound's crafting system is the same thing you see in every sandbox. Get this amount of this resource, build the next tier of items. At the very least, it's easier to navigate than Terraria. Like many other sandboxes, Starbound is mostly randomly generated. But the patterns begin to wear thin when you notice the same kinds of monsters on the same kinds of planets. Unlike most sandbox games, Starbound offers a full story with cutscenes. While not very compelling, it's still a good way of progression, even if it's a bit linear at times. There are a number of playable races here in Starbound, but they all feel the same aside from late game gear. The only real difference between them is the way that NPCs will react. NPCs are a long way from feeling compelling. It seems like they don't care what you do. You steal around them, all they do is tell you to stop. And just go fuck right off again. You're also unable to kill NPCs, which I think is kinda stupid in my opinion. But otherwise, they're a nice little feature to most of the barren planets you run across. Starbound has more than its fair share of technical issues too, like a weird issue where the game seems to slow down to a crawl, and at worst, become completely unplayable. These issues might just be my personal experience with a bad PC, but when Skyrim on max settings runs better than your 2D sandbox game, there might be a problem with your engine. Exploring planets is fun. Traversing the terrain with different transportation tools like grappling hooks and different kinds of vehicles is exciting when you try new things. Instead of multiple tools, Starbound has one, the matter manipulator. You upgrade it throughout your journey. It serves as a more convenient means than filling up your inventory with a number of different types of tools. It's also a big point in Starbound's narrative, but who gives a shit about Starbound's story? Getting geared up with rare weapons is fun, like giant monster eyes that shoot lasers or hammers that raise ice walls. Sort of like Borderlands' gun addiction in a sense. Combat is actually fun with, albeit simple, combos and special moves. Fighting NPCs can actually be challenging when unprepared. Along with the combat and action, there's an in-depth farming system with different growing conditions and plant species. It's not just a way to grow food for your own needs, it's also one of the best ways to make money in the game. It makes Starbound become this lighter Stardew Valley in space if you want to focus on farming. My biggest gripe with Starbound would have to be the fact that progression seems to be locked into one route. You always have to kill this boss and this boss to get access to this planet. I feel like it would have done better with a bit more branching progression. Say, a skill tree to specialize your characters a bit more. Bring more of an RPG feel to Starbound. It might be just my opinion, but it seems like the only thing Starbound's really lacking. So whether you want to be a space farmer or a grave robber, there's something in Starbound for everyone. Well, maybe not everyone, but it's definitely worth picking up. And happy to say, Starbound is finally a finished game. Hey, it's me. I wasn't originally going to do this review because I felt I had a bit of a bias with Starbound, because I backed the project back in, a point when it wasn't playable at all. But now that I've gotten a couple more hours after review to play it with friends and stuff, yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident with it. It's fun, but just take everything I say with a bit of a grain of salt. No, a big chunk of salt, actually. Like the background song. It's Welcome to Valhalla from Valhalla, Cyberpunk Bartending Action. I like that game.